It looks like the wait is finally over as the list reached the Senate today, ending weeks of anxiety and speculations about the caliber and capacity of those on President Tinubu's cabinet. But only 28 names made it on the list, with no states or portfolios attached. Unlike before, the ministerial list was hand-delivered, this time by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, to the Senate President, in line with Section 147 of the 1999 Constitution. All right, National Assembly correspondent Omar Bazoye was there, and here is this report.
Minutes after emerging from a closed-door session, Senate did what has not been done before, invoking Section 1A, 1B, and Section 12 of its standing rules to admit Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, into the chamber to hand-deliver the much-awaited executive communication from the presidency. Gbajabiamila is also the immediate past Speaker of the House of Representatives. Tinubu's ministerial list arrived the Senate few hours to the expiration of the constitutional deadline, mandating him to forward the names of those he wants to hire into his cabinet to the Senate for vetting and approval within 60 days after his inauguration. But the list unveiled turned out to be an abridged version made up of only 28 nominees with no states or portfolios attached. There was a promise that more names would follow soon. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, quickly unveiled it to senators who themselves had waited long for the executive communication.
In compliance with the provisions of Section 147, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to forward to the Senate for confirmation the underlisted 28 ministerial nominees.
Dominating Tinubu's ministerial list are former governors, strong political allies believed to have worked for Tinubu's victory at the polls, and a sprinkle of technocrats. Some of the former governors include Nasir El-Rufai and Nyesom Wike, who happens to be a card-carrying member of the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP). Also on the list are former governor of Jigawa State Abubakar Badaru and former governor of Ebonyi State Dave Umahi, who currently serves as deputy majority leader in the Senate.
Yes, the list we have so far is not complete, and I'm hoping that by the time the complete list is brought to us, we'll begin to see holistically the Executive Council of His Excellency, the President of the Federation. But for now, we have our fingers crossed and see when they bring the rest of the list.
Tinubu's list is also significantly dominated by former National Assembly members, mostly senators. Top on the list is the current acting national chairman of the governing All Progressive Congress APC, Senator Abubakar Kyari from Borno State. Also on the list is Senator John Eno from Cross River State and Senator Sani Abubakar Danladi. Former Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives in Kiruka Onyejocha from Abia State, Honorable Olubumi Tunjiojo and Abubakar Momo complete the list of former National Assembly members on Tinubu's ministerial list. Former Executive Director, Nexim Bank, Stella Okotiete from Delta State, and the Special Advisor to the President on Communication Strategy and Special Duties, Dele Alake, also made the list. Alake is a close ally of President Tinubu.
Well, it's just an abridged version. You can join us pretty much later on News 9 to get a more robust coverage of what went down in the Senate. But for now, on what went down, I'm joined in the studio live by the spokesperson of the Senate, Yemi Adaramodu. Good to see you and thanks for your time. Okay. Everyone has been waiting for this, and finally it is here. First, one of the key concerns should be the presentation, which perhaps the Senator should be able to give clarity on this. Many have thought that the President would have made maybe his presence, but this was brought in by the Chief of Staff of the President. How welcoming was that by the Senate?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to Nigerians. So there's no statute, either constitutional or even ordinary bylaw, that states that it's the President himself that should bring the list. What is in the Constitution is that the list should be transmitted to the Senate for screening and confirmation. And today, the list was transmitted to the Senate through the Chief of Staff to Mr. President. That is Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the former House of Representatives Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then we feel that he has the status to represent Mr. President in presenting the Senate, the list of the ministerial nominees. And then, like I said, there's no statute that states that it must be the President himself that should bring it, because the President is not under someone, and then it is the presidency to the Senate. So, and then it could be transmitted through any official of the presidency to the Senate, and that was what was done today. And so we are very glad that it came. And Nigerians too are very glad that the list came to us today for screening and confirmation.
It's an incomplete list.
Well,
at deadline.
Well, when we talk about a complete list, the executive knows how many people they need that can make many. And they know those areas that we need very critical intervention, especially now. And then it is not about the number. It is about effectiveness of the number that is sent and that is screened and confirmed. And even there, the President said that he will still be sending more. So many that is not exhaustive. So it means that, yes, for now, going around the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, these are the men and women that he have found what to send to the Senate for clearance. And then we don't have any reason to say that, yes, maybe at the end of the day, there might be only 1 or 2 extra that will be sent. It might be 20, depending on how and why and where those people will serve, and then go to make money for the Nigerian public. So we are not quarreling with the numbers that were sent today. So let us see those people that are coming. Let's examine them. Let's look at them character-wise. Let's look at them experience. Let's look at them competence. Let's look at their mental mobility and capability. So once we go ahead and do that one, so the President himself will know what to do if it is necessary for him to send more names to the Senate for screening and clearance. And then it is the prerogative of the executive to know how many ministries or how many parastatals or how many departments or agencies that it could work with that we deliver.
But again, I think it's a matter of statutes. Correct me if I'm wrong here, that every state must have a representative, and so far we have 36 states, and it looks like
that's what I mean. Yes. That those ones that were sent, that the President has already stated it there. He said in his letter to his correspondence to the Senate that for now I'm sending this, then more will be coming. And so that's why I said, at least if we do the screening, which we are going to do time-muchly, then those people will start to work, and then more can be sent, because he has to look at areas of need. Yeah. I think he has to look at areas of need and the round pegs that can fix into the round holes. So
does the Senate, sorry to butt in here, does the Senate have an idea of when the next list will be out?
Well, it is not the prerogative and the duty of the Senate to send lists to herself. So it is the prerogative and the duty of the executive to do so. And then bearing all odds, bearing the constitutional requirement that the president should, within 60 days, maximally, send ministerial nominees to the Senate for clearance and then confirmation. So that one, the statute had been fulfilled today. And then the president has already stated that more are still coming. The more can come before Monday, because by Monday we are going to start the screening. And then it will take us through any time, because the Senate has already suspended its annual vacation for the screening, yes. Because today is supposed to be the beginning of the annual vacation for the National Assembly. So the Senate is not going to any annual vacation until all these are dispensed with. So definitely within the time that the Senate will be dealing with the list sent, then we are expecting that more will still come. Even if it is after that, if it is necessary for us to still suspend more, the time that we will go for annual vacation, the Senate will do that one. So there's no cause for alarm, and there's no reason for us to even be apprehensive about that one. And like I said, that the Senate, the 10th Senate, is not going to disappoint Nigerians.
Well, how excited is or otherwise is the 10th Senate looking at the list, talking about gender representation now? We have about 7 women.
Yes, at least first of all, we find out that for the first time, quite a very good and reasonable number of women are on the list so far sent. And since Mr. President promised that more are still coming, we expect more women to come with the other list that will be coming. And when we even get into the screening proper, so we know who will scale, who will not scale, because it is going to be a thorough screening.
Who will not scale?
It's going to be a thorough screening. It's going to be the Senate, the 10th Senate is promising Nigerians that it's going to be a thorough screening. It's going to be, because we know the demands of the society now. We know the demands of the public now. We know the expectation of the public, not only from the executive, even from the legislative arm of government. We know. So, and then we are going to do a very thorough job, and we are going to ensure that the best that is better for Nigeria is going to be given to Nigeria through the list that Mr. President has submitted. We don't have any reason to think that maybe there is any name that could have been submitted which is not worth it. We know that one, but we have to confirm it, and we have to show it to Nigerians that yes, this 10th Senate is out for business, and that business is making sure that the best is given to Nigerians, and that Nigerians deserve the best. And then the time that we are in now, so we know that we have to, like we reiterated, that this time we are going to assist the executive to assemble a team that is going to breathe oxygen into our economy, that is going to assemble a team that is going to bring life into even into our body politic. So it's not going to be a kind of saying because some people just have to fill in the gaps. It's not, nobody is filling any gap. If you are going to fill any gap, that gap must be seriously filled, and then there must be value to be added into that gap. So that is what the 10th Senate is about doing this time around.
Seems that the APC is particular about oxygen, and because I recall then the president had also said that they should allow the poor breathe now. In the case of Nigerians not to be asphyxiated, now let's speak more about the list you have already before the Senate. Say for a man, and a well-known person, the former governor of Rivers State, everyone seemed to be a member of the APC. Mm-hmm. On the face value, what did you get from your colleagues in the Red Chamber in the Senate about the list so far? How excited or otherwise are they?
Look, from the Senate, we cannot be commenting on the list until they start appearing. So when they start appearing, then we now take them one after the other. We know what questions we will ask. Then these nominees, they come from constituencies, they come from states. we too, we come from constituencies, we come from the senatorial
And they are
districts.
well-known people.
And they are well-known people.
So are we likely to see
when we get to the
exemptions?
screening proper,
Yeah.
so we know what questions to ask. So until then, we cannot just give a pass mark just offhand or failed mark just offhand. So because we have our own criteria too in screening. And so
Sorry to
for
cut
now,
you. Sorry to cut you, Senator Adaramodu. I'm trying to see how much we can take before we leave. Not every time we can get you here.
Okay.
Some of the names already. The good thing is that you're more or less a journalist and a lawmaker, so you know these things. So you read papers. Yeah. Some of the names have been fingered and mentioned, even in the last administration, having issues of corruption on, around those names, and some of those names are already on the list.
Yes, my brother. Anybody that goes into any public office, you have opponents, either politically, domestically, or socially or otherwise. Then people will write petitions against themselves. Nobody can be said to be corrupt unless that person is proven to be so by a law court. And what we are saying is this: those names that are there, maybe even those people that we say they were ex-governors, Nigeria had already done a lot to bring them up. They are investments of Nigeria. And Nigeria must get return on investments. So there's no way somebody can grow up, maybe as a local government chairman, to be a commissioner, to be a minister, to be a governor, and we just throw that person away without using the experience of that person, without making sure that that person works for Nigeria. So there's no way we can just take that one and say that, because he has been a governor before, so he must have joined the league of those people that they are people that are not necessary, that are not wanted in Nigeria. No, it is Nigeria's investment. They are Nigeria's investments too. And then Nigeria must get return on investments on them. But in case there's any, there is a case, in any case, that if it is proven that anybody, either you have been a governor before, you have been a senator before, you have been a councillor before, even an ordinary person without having held a political office before, if it is proven and the law court adjudges that yes, you are corrupt, or that the allegations against you is real, true, and factual, and then that person is convicted, definitely there's no reason anybody, and I'm very sure even the presidency will not send the name to the National Assembly. And then if peradventure there's a mistake and that name slips into any list, then the National Assembly will do the needful.
Is the National Assembly aware of why the list came at this time?
Yes, because there is provision for 60 days. And then within 60 days, we expect that the list will come, and the list came. It was within 60 days. So it can come the first day of the 60 days, the 30th day of the 60 days.
It came at the cost. Now it's costing your holiday, and it's also putting everyone under pressure.
Well, we had already been put under pressure by the circumstances of Nigeria. And so in order to remove perpetual pressure, then we have to go through the final pressure. And that final pressure is by looking for the safe hands that can treat Nigeria very well, that can make Nigeria healthy, that can bring Nigeria out of the woods, that can bring Nigeria out of the economic and political doldrums that we find ourselves. So the apprehension is worth it. The patience is worth it.
And before I let you go, let's quickly hear your views on the 70 billion? I like that look on your face. Is it 70 billion that the Senate is going to spend to make every colleague of yours comfortable?
My brother, whenever I hear this issue of 70 billion naira, I always laugh. Because even like any other Nigeria, any other average Nigeria, when we hear billions, is something that looks like a hell. So look,
Because many of
no
us
70 billion
haven't seen
naira,
it.
no 70 billion naira is going to be shared by members of the National Assembly, be it in the reps or in the Senate. It is unfathomable. It is an illusion. It is tantalizing. It is a tantalizing mirage. Something like that is not even coming up. Now, 70 billion naira in the budget is one. When you mention National Assembly, it is not the legislators that make the National Assembly. The legislators are just 1/10 of the population of the National Assembly. In the National Assembly, we have, in the House of Representatives, we have about 133 committees. In the Senate, we have about 89 committees. Now, that's more than 200 committees that we have in the National Assembly. All these committees, they have clerks, they have offices, they have their own bureaucracy separately. And this bureaucracy, they have offices.
But the documents,
and now,
the
then,
documents
apart from that,
by,
we now have
by
departments.
journalists. Quickly,
Wait, my brother.
No, because
they now have. Yes, don't
the
worry.
document
Don't worry.
obtained
Let
by
me just
journalists specifically stated that it was for the new members coming in.
No, you know,
Was
there's
that
a
an
mistake.
error?
It was that new member thing they said is that 10th Assembly is new. Like 9th Assembly was new. 8th Assembly was new when its time was the 8th Assembly. So after this 10th Assembly, even if all members of the 10th Assembly make it to the 11th Assembly, it's a new assembly. So this is a new assembly, which is the 10th Assembly. And then in that 10th Assembly, like I was analyzing, there are so many offices, there are so many staffers, and we have more than 10,000 members of staff in the National Assembly, apart from about 500 reps and senators that are there. And these people have offices, and those offices need all tools, ranging from computer to table to even television set to even ordinary typewriters to even ordinary biros and fridges, at least cooling system, and then even aircon. So all these, even window blind, those are the things that 70 billion naira are budgeted for. And the budget is always done one-off. When Nigerians asked from me, they said, why now? I said, look, you cannot do budget as at when the need arises. You won't say because you want to buy a pair of slippers, then you have to go to appropriation. Right. So you do appropriation once for all in a year. So that 7 billion naira is not going to any legislator at all. In fact, it is going to be expended because it was even put together by the bureaucracy of the National Assembly. And it is the same bureaucracy that is going to expend it. And if you get to the National Assembly, when you look at all service providers and several of them like that, presently, in many of the offices, we provide for our television sets, we provide for everything, even painting of the offices, even window blinds. We provide for all of them. Well, and then if
I think we'll need to come on a special day so that you can break this budget down for Nigerians to better understand. Yes. I'd like to thank you for your time, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. Many thanks for coming on. All right, it's prime time.